Hi, everybody. Well, this evening, I want to talk about something a little different. I want to talk about what we think about what happens after we die. And I'm not trying to be morbid or anything. I watched a video on a lady who had a near-death experience and how it changed her. And I was thinking about it, because most of my time is spent on useless BS stuff that I don't really have to think too deeply about. And so I wanted to talk about this. I don't fear death, and there's a reason for it. I had a near-death experience in 1997. I almost died from an attack from my ex. I was kidnapped, tortured, and shot twice. And although I didn't lose consciousness while I was there in that place, I did later after I got to the hospital. And they told me that I lost a lot of blood. They gave me lots of blood. I don't know if I know I didn't actually die. It was like what it says, near-death experience. I was totally unconscious for several hours that I know of. I had surgery and all that stuff. Anyway, after that experience, life looked a whole lot different. And at first, it really didn't dawn on me what it was all about. It's taken me years to kind of roll it all together and figure out what it means, because I had a lot of issues back then, and obviously physical as well as mental. So over the years, I've processed it and I've learned things, and I've always known since that time that I am not afraid to die. But I didn't really go much past it, except to say that living was more painful. For me, it was physical, mental too, because the mental anguish of surviving something like that, most people call it PTSD, is horrible. And you have to do a lot of things to adapt to it. You don't really get over it, you just kind of adapt to it. And the physical parts last a long time, and some of it can go on forever, depending on how bad it is. For me, the physical parts that are left over aren't disabling, but they're there. So anyway, I'm not afraid to die. The things that bother me more than anything else are things that I've done and said in the past that hurt other people that I regret. And I can't take them back. And I wish that I could. I wish that I had lived a better life. And for me, knowing that my afterlife might be affected by that, as in viewing my life, seeing what my experiences were, feeling what the other people felt. It's typical, you do like a life review in this place. It's described from many different people. And you do a life review of what happened, good and bad, and then you feel what other people feel, in your interactions. Like if you did something or said something bad to someone, you in turn are that person, and you feel what they felt when you did this to them. And this has been repeated over and over in many near-death experiences. People have described this. And I have a lot of regrets about things that I said and did. I know it's a process, so I'm not afraid of that. It just bothers me. I mean, I have a lot of regrets. And the other thing is about what's left behind. Because we all see, as people living here on earth, of the aftermath of when someone dies. All of their human stuff is left behind for families to sort out. And it could be emotional baggage. It's certainly physical. If you have someone that you're close to that dies, it's very emotionally hurting. You hurt a long time emotionally, probably forever. There's only been 2 people in my life that have passed that that emotionally hurt me. That still hurts now. And it was the 2 people that raised me. They were not my parents. I was taken away from my parents. And it was my aunt and her son. And when each one of them died, it broke me. And after my aunt died, she came to me. I think a day later or so, I was in bed. I don't know if I was asleep or not, but she came to me and gave me some peace. But I still was emotionally broken by it, because she's the only female person that loved me unconditionally. And her son helped her raise me the same way. He was unconditional love, I guess you could call it. Anyway, that's the kind of thing that can stick with people that are left behind, is the emotional baggage. Now, as far as the physical stuff, back then there was no digital age, so all their worldly possessions was right there. Knowing, with both of them, my aunt, her daughter had kept all her possessions. I didn't get anything except a little dish and some costume jewelry that she had, because they didn't want me to have anything of hers, and I don't know that she really had anything at that point because of the way the situation was. She died of the complications of diabetes, and she was in a really bad shape, and she'd been living with them for quite a while, so I'm pretty sure she probably didn't have anything physical. Anyway, having said that, I have a home. I have a bunch of digital stuff, all the social media stuff, which who gives a shit about that? But I have physical things. I have some things of value that could potentially help my son and his children. And it would be severely traumatic to try to figure all that out. That's the thing that bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me. I guess it's because I've seen the results of that when people have died, in the last decade or two, how people struggle with what's left behind. Like when you leave a house and property and money and vehicles and all that. I don't know. Maybe it's petty. But I've heard it can be a real pain in the butt. Anyway. So, speaking of dying, like I said before, I'm not afraid of dying. I just fear of what's left behind. From these people that talk about near-death experiences, the ones that talk about, they actually died, they talk about how they feel. And the feeling is indescribable. Colors are indescribable. The mind sends you anywhere you want to go. And I call it the mind, but it's the soul, I guess you could say. And you see people that have gone before you. And that's something to look forward to for sure. Sorry. Because I really want to see my family. The family I have here is okay, but I don't really connect with them very well because I never spent much time with them. I've always felt disconnected, and I don't know why. Maybe I'll understand that when I'm on the other side. Even with my son, I have always held him away from me. And I don't know where that came from, because my aunt seemed to love me unconditionally as well as her son. And I don't feel like I should have been the type of person to do that. She loved babies to death. And I feel like being raised by her, I should have had some of her traits. But I didn't. And although I do love my son, I never felt that incredible connection that mothers, that I'm told that mothers have with their child. And I really don't understand why. I know there's something there, because when I look at him, I see me. I see how he does things that are similar to me, and some of his looks are like my looks, and mannerisms and all that kind of stuff. But there's not that real deep soul connection. Not like it was with me and my aunt. And I regret it. And I know he knows that. And it's affected his entire life too. And I hope it's not the same for him and his children. I don't see that. I have no connection with his children. None. They're just little people. I really don't feel anything for them. I care about them, but it's not like what people say you should feel. And I want to know why. Maybe whenever I'm gone, maybe when I'm on the other side or out there, or however it works, I'll understand it. Of course, I can't come back and tell everybody, but this is my life. So I don't really need to have to explain it to anyone else after the fact. It doesn't matter to me if I'm forgotten or not, because it doesn't really affect me, I guess. I would hope that if I'm reincarnated, that I have learned something from this life. and that I can be a better person in the next life. I see so many people out there now with social media. You can see what thousands and thousands of people are doing, and how they're living their lives, and even in the day-to-day, talking to people, meeting people, that there's a whole lot of people out there that have really wonderful lives despite things that may have happened, wonderful childhoods, great golden opportunities, and makes me wonder, what life lesson was I supposed to be learning here this time? What stage is this? Is it a stage? Did I live a horrible past life that I needed to come back and live a life of like the one I have for a lesson? Was I a rich, happy, wonderful, fantastic person, and I needed a lesson of somebody that was poor and unhappy and had addictions and trauma, and I don't know. I guess now I'm getting too long-winded, and it's probably, I would be really surprised if anybody has watched to this point. Anyway, I think I've about come to the end of that introspection. And yeah, that's the end of that. I guess I will sign off for now and deal with all the rest of it later.